The world often tests us in the silent moments, when no one is watching and we feel unprepared. Imagine walking through life, and someone strikes, not with fists, but with words, with sharp jabs of judgment or mockery. They aim for your pride, your sense of self, and most people react. They lash out, defend, or get hurt, giving their power away. But there is another way, a path few notice, where attacks bounce off like whispers against walls that cannot be broken. To understand this, you must first grasp a subtle truth. The world cannot touch what you refuse to expose. The insult is powerless unless you lend it strength with your reaction. The moment your heartbeat rises, the moment your eyes flare with indignation, the moment you speak to defend yourself, you have already lost. The wise understand that mastery of the self is far more formidable than the mastery of circumstance. True power begins in silence, in observation, in the quiet assertion that no force outside of your control can shape your inner world. The first step is expectation. Expect betrayal. Expect scorn. Expect envy and disregard. Life is not gentle. It is a mirror that reflects the chaos within every human heart. When you walk into each encounter prepared, nothing pierces you. The unpredictable cruelty of others becomes predictable, and predictability is the seed of unshakable calm. When someone seeks to wound you, let them strike, for your armor is already in place. You are ready, not because you crave confrontation, but because you have aligned yourself with inevitability. The world will betray, mock, and challenge you. Better to meet it with eyes open than to stumble blind into its snare. Silence is the second tool. It is not the absence of speech, but the presence of power. When provoked, the tongue is often the first weapon of the weak. They lash, they argue, they attempt to reclaim their dignity with words that betray fear. But silence, deliberate and unyielding, is far more lethal. It forces the observer to question, to doubt, to feel the weight of an unseen authority. Silence conceals your intentions, obscures your boundaries, and whispers a dangerous truth. You are not their plaything. To cultivate this silence, practice restraint. Feel the heat rise, but let it dissipate into the calm of your mind. Count slowly, breathe deliberately, and watch as the world scrambles for leverage where none exists. Emotions themselves are neither allies nor enemies. They are instruments, messages from within, but they are not commands. To feel anger, frustration, or fear is natural. To let these impulses dictate your actions is surrender. The master of self experiences all sensations fully, yet reveals none unless it serves a calculated purpose. By observing your emotional responses, by distancing yourself from the rush of instinct, you become an enigma to those who seek to manipulate you. They cannot predict, cannot corner, cannot exploit what is already untouchable. Control is forged in the frame of perception. When others attempt to define you, to twist your reality into their narrative, the instinct is to defend, to explain, to justify. This is the trap. By defending, you admit that their perspective carries power over you. By reframing, by holding the narrative with quiet authority, you shift the balance. Their words no longer bind you. They become a distant echo, irrelevant to the structure of your existence. Each encounter becomes an exercise in strategic influence, a reminder that you alone determine the architecture of your inner world. Detachment from opinion is an even subtler art. The praise of the world is no more binding than its condemnation. When the mind clings to approval, it shackles itself to the whims of others. When it recoils from criticism, it exposes its soft underbelly. True sovereignty is internal, built upon self-consistency, discipline, and awareness of values that exist independently of applause or censure. Those who cultivate this internal compass find freedom not in the absence of others' judgment, but in the irrelevance of it. Self-discipline thrives on consequence, not coercion. Each time you resist the urge to react, reward the mind for its restraint. Each time you surrender to provocation, impose a measured cost, a correction designed to recalibrate the system. The brain, like any apprentice, learns most effectively through structured incentives. Over time, composure becomes instinctive, calmness the default, reaction the anomaly. Indifference is not apathy, it is power refined. The world expects engagement, seeks it desperately. To withhold response is to wield influence without visible effort. Indifference, practiced and authentic, frustrates manipulators because it operates beyond their reach. It is a demonstration of self-possession so complete that it renders provocation impotent. The indifferent are not cold, they are unmovable, a force the chaotic cannot touch. Every slight, every jab, every whisper of contempt carries energy. The choice is whether to dissipate it in futile resistance or to channel it into creation. Let anger fuel ambition, let mockery sharpen skill, let disbelief propel mastery. Every attack that does not find you shattered becomes raw material for your ascent. The weak are consumed, the strong are forged, and when the world tempts you with revenge, consider cold calculation. Vengeance, like all tools, must be measured and applied strategically. Many pursue retaliation as a reflex, as pride, as unthinking justice, only to find their energy drained and their focus fractured. The master discerns when the expenditure of effort advances purpose and when it diminishes it. Power is conserved, concentrated, and deployed with precision. Finally, detachment crowns the edifice of mastery. The untouchable soul is defined not by indifference to life, but by freedom from attachment to outcomes that can be manipulated. Love is present without clinging, ambition without desperation, care without vulnerability to coercion. The untouchable moves through the world with a calm that is magnetic and impenetrable, a sovereign presence that commands respect without aggression. This journey is not theoretical. Each principle, each law, each practice is a step toward inhabiting a state of being where the storms of human folly wash over you without leaving a trace. Here, there is no provocation, no insult, no opinion capable of breaking the rhythm of your mind. Here, composure is sovereign and power flows from the unshakable integrity of self-possession. Drop your illusions of dependency. Release the chains of reaction. Let the energy of the world feed your ascent rather than your downfall. Master silence, harness indifference, redirect insult into ambition, and approach every engagement with calm, calculated detachment. In this, you discover a rare and fearsome truth. The world can challenge you endlessly, yet it can never conquer the mind that refuses to be swayed. This is not mere survival, it is sovereignty. It is the art of existing beyond the reach of chaos, of walking through the noise of humanity without becoming entangled in its tempests. The untouchable does not shout, does not strike, does not defend. For their presence alone is a barrier, their calm a weapon, their inner order an unassailable fortress. The weak will react, the naive will crumble, the impulsive will hand their power to anyone who seeks it. You, who understand these truths, who practice these disciplines, who cultivate these inner laws, will not. You will walk through the clamor of the world as though it were wind through a hollow stone. You will remain serene while others stumble, composed while others rage, untouchable while others are dragged by circumstance. This is the beginning of a transformation that goes deeper than strategy, deeper than cunning. It is the cultivation of a mind and soul that cannot be bent, a spirit that thrives amidst disorder, a presence that commands without demanding. The mastery of self is the only mastery that matters, and it is the path to a life where no word, no act, no intention of another can disturb your core. You are untouchable, not because you are invulnerable, but because you are sovereign. You are calm, not because the world is safe, but because you have learned to inhabit a sanctuary within yourself that no chaos can breach. The mastery of the mind is the crown of the strong, and every practice you adopt, every moment you resist reaction, every breath of deliberate calmness is a jewel in that crown. Embrace it. Walk in it. Become the presence that others feel before they see, the calm they envy, the power they cannot touch. This is the law beyond all laws. When you command yourself completely, no one can command you. When you inhabit your mind fully, no one can invade it. When you cultivate detachment and mastery, you ascend into a realm of freedom and sovereignty that is impervious, undeniable, and eternal. Your journey begins now, in the quiet choice to observe rather than react, to withhold rather than defend, to transform every attempt to wound into fuel for your ascent. In this, you discover the rarest and most formidable power of all, the ability to be completely, unshakably, untouchably yourself. And so, you arrive at the place few ever reach, a state where the world's chaos slides off you like rain on stone. Words no longer cut, opinions no longer bind, provocations no longer stir. You act from choice, not impulse, from sovereignty, not fear. Calm becomes your weapon, detachment your shield, and self-mastery your crown. In this quiet dominion of the mind, you are untouchable. You do not need to prove, to defend, or to react, for your presence alone commands respect. The weak will still tremble, and the loud will still rage, but you, steady, composed, sovereign, move through it all untouched, unshaken, and free.